If that's your strategy for success, the only thing that will show up in your mailbox is not the check, it's a freaking eviction notice.
If you can't sell, if you can't influence, if you can't persuade, good luck trying to get your business off the ground.
And the only way to get from conscious competence to unconscious competence is through practice.
Some people set goals that might be high, but they're crappy goals.
Most people don't have a compelling vision for their own future.
You got to get honest. Don't blame the boss. Don't blame the leads. Don't blame your job. Don't blame the industry you're in.
My message is this. There's only one way to get rich, and that's quick.
In the internal world, before you can master the external world, you have to master your own internal world.
It's not how you actually perform that earns you the respect of your peers. It's the fact that you went out and actually did it.
I live on love alone, really? Go bring that to the bank and pay the rent. Hello, okay? I read this book because I was in disbelief, because people would tell, here's the strategy for success of the secret, right? Go into your house and into a quiet room, and you close the lights, draw the shades, and sit on a couch and visualize a big fat check. 25 G's, $1,000 US, okay, with your name on it. And I want you to imagine that check and just make that check go bigger in your mind and make it real, more real, and just put it out into the ether of the universe, and the law of attraction will take hold. Just think about it. Bullshit, right? Hello? If that's your strategy for success, the only thing that will show up in your mailbox is not the check, it's a freaking eviction notice from your landlord. They'll be towing away your car. Your wife or your husband will be over the next door neighbor, and you'll be still saying, where's the check? Where's the check? Where's... Okay? The secret is a load of crap. Okay? Do I believe in manifestation? Yeah! Damn straight I do. But you got to take action. I'm one of those unfortunate people. I tried it. I really did. I swear I tried it. Because I read the book and said, well, let me try, you know? So I sat there and I prayed for the check. Never came. But when I went out and started taking action, guess what? The check came with an extra couple of zeros.
And for like an entrepreneur, forget a salesperson, how about just an entrepreneur who's looking to start a business? Well, if you can't sell, if you can't influence, if you can't persuade, good luck trying to get your business off the ground. I'm not talking about just your customers. I'm talking about the bankers, the people with venture capitalists, your vendors, your credit card processor, the people who work for you. How do you get people to work for you excited? How do you get them excited? How do you get them to want to buy into your vision? At the highest level, what sales really is, it's the transference of emotion. And the emotion you're transferring is this emotion of certainty. That someone feels certain, yeah, it's a good thing, it's going to help me, it's going to fill my need. When you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to start a business and you're recruiting people, well, you're selling people on your vision for the future, your vision for this company. And if you can't do that, good luck trying to get great people to work for you. It's nearly impossible, which is why you always see, the people, if they say, oh, he's a visionary. Well, that's true, but typically not only are they visionaries, they also possess the ability to sell the vision to other people, to inspire them, to motivate them. So selling is not just like, people think of selling, oh, well, I'm not a salesman, I don't need to. Well, yes, you do. You need to learn how to influence. How about trying to get your kids to make their bed or do their homework or believe in the value of education? How about trying to get a landlord to give you a reduction on your rent or to extend the lease the way you want? How about trying to negotiate terms? You understand, it cuts to everything. So I always look at this, say, when I say I cracked the code on influence, what I really did essentially was I was, by working backwards almost, by saying I'm going to start at the end and go to the beginning, say what has to happen before someone says yes, I was able to take that and put it into this system that took the no-name, talentless guys and turned them into millionaires.
There were 4 levels of learning. Okay, let me tell you what the levels are. Some of you might know, if you've been through any self-development, this is some very basic stuff, but it's important here. The first level is called being unconsciously incompetent. And what that means is this. When you first start doing something, you know so little about it, you basically know nothing. You don't know what you don't know. This is a very scary spot to be in. When you're thrown into a situation and you're a complete novice, you say, geez, I'd love to get better at this, but I haven't the slightest idea what I don't know. Everyone follow that concept? This is what most people start off, okay? The next level is becoming consciously incompetent. That means that you're like, Jesus Christ, I don't know anything. You're like, there's this, there's that, there's all these strategies. They all sound great. I don't know them. That's the next level. Next level above that is called being consciously competent. Consciously competent means that you're good at something, but you can't really do it with your eyes closed yet. You're good, but it requires all your focus and your mental energy. Like, remember when we were kids, growing up, you learn to tie your shoe. In the beginning, you like tie your shoe, like you're putting your things across, and someone says, excuse me, like, don't interrupt me. You can't tie your shoe and have a conversation at the same time, right? That's when you're consciously competent in something. It requires all your conscious focus. The next level above that is called being unconscious competence. And that means when you're really, really great at something, you can do it without thinking about it. And the only way to get from conscious competence to unconscious competence is through practice. There's no other way. By drilling it into your head again and again and again and again and again until your brain just clicks, and all of a sudden you're using the unconscious part of your mind, which is infinitely more powerful than your conscious mind.
The reason that most people are not successful or not wealthy is not because they set their goals too high and miss them. It's because they set them too low and hit them. Get that? It's not because you set your goals too high and miss. You set your goals too low and you hit them. And you get caught up in the average daily struggle of averagism and mediocrity. That's what kills people. Everybody raise your hand for a second, please. Raise your hand. Now raise it as high as you can. I'm going to crouch so I can see. Okay? Now just raise it a bit higher, everyone. Higher. Why the hell did that happen? I say raise it as high as you can. And everyone says, okay, then a little bit higher. Okay, well, if you really mean it, right? You get it? It's that extra inch. That's where you want to set your goal. Not pie in the sky and out of control like it's never going to happen. Because that's a load of crap, too. People that set those sort of goals, they abandon those goals. And I'll get to that later. But the idea here is you want to set the goals just above your comfort zone. So now think about it for a second. Think about your goals right now. How do you set them? Are you setting them very low and hitting them? If that's the case, then give yourself a 10. Are you setting goals that don't inspire you? Some people set goals that might be high, but they're crappy goals. They're not the sort of goals that make you jump out of bed in the morning, make you want to go to work for yourself, to secure the future, not just for you, but for your family. So you don't have to compromise or acquiesce to anybody unless you love them, unless you want to. That's freedom. You know, money's just a mechanism to get there.
You know, most people, and here's the irony, is that most people don't have a compelling vision for their own future. They don't. They move through life setting goals. And goals have no power. We're at this point, you know, goals had power in 1959 when Earl Nightingale came with this idea of goal setting. And everyone's like, wow, I'm a goal-oriented person. And that was great. And it worked for like 20 years. Everyone set goals and they got results. But then all of a sudden, you know, you set goals and sometimes you hit them, sometimes you don't. Most times you don't. Okay, and that's okay. But goals almost became like a synonym for like, oh, I'm going to set a goal and who gives a shit what really happens afterwards. And it almost is synonymous with failure now, goal setting. There's something above, and I believe in setting goals, but there's got to be something above your goals. And that's your vision for the future. And it's not just about, it doesn't have like an ending point. It's about the world being a certain way. And that's inspiring to you. When you truly have a vision for your future that inspires you, you're going to jump up out of bed in the morning and feel great about going at life versus being miserable and going to a job you hate or living a life that doesn't empower you and just, you know, every day moving through just almost like an automaton, not really, you know, having the zest and the greatness of life. And I'm guilty. I've been there myself when I felt like I didn't really have a compelling vision for my own future and I felt like I was wallowing. But at least I'm conscious of that. Once you become conscious of that, you can consciously create a vision for your future. It doesn't happen in 1 minute or an hour. You write it down. You work on it until when you finally hit on it. You know you got it? When you read it back to yourself, your vision statement, and it moves you and you feel inspired. Okay? And, you know, so few people have that. And what happens is every human being is thirsty for a vision. Everyone is. And so few people have one. So what do? They gravitate towards someone who has a vision for the future because they want to be a part of a vision. Part of being a great entrepreneur is having that vision, being able to create the vision, and then sell that vision to other people to get them to want to be inspired, to buy into it, to put in their time, their hard work, their elbow grease to help you achieve your vision. If you're a smart one, then you spread the wealth around, and it's a win-win for everybody.
The only thing that stops you from getting what you want in life is the bullshit story you tell yourself of why you can't have it. You get that? What stops you back is the story, because the story stops you from getting honest. And if you can't get honest with yourself, there's no way you can go. Imagine like this, success in sales and life, it's like a roadmap, right? You know where you want to go, and you have this perfect strategy, the straight line to get there. It's a perfect strategy. It's going to get you there every single time. But if you don't know your starting point, if you're not getting honest with where you actually are, it doesn't matter how powerful the strategy is, and it doesn't matter how powerful your goal is. I'm going to ask you to set a goal today, right? A 60-day goal. And let's say you really set this goal, and I'll show you how to do it in a brilliant way. So it's visceral. So it makes you really feel it. You see it, you sense it, you smell the goal. That's step one. I'm going to teach you the straight line, which is your strategy to get to your goal. But if you're not honest with where you are right now, your starting point, the map is worthless. There's three things that you need to know: where you are, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. Those are the three things you must have to take advantage of any opportunity. I'm going to give you the strategy. I'm going to ask you to tell me exactly where you want to go for yourself. You got to get honest. Don't blame the boss. Don't blame the leads. Don't blame your job. Don't blame the industry you're in. Just get honest. If you don't like your industry, find another one.
My message is this: there's only one way to get rich, and that's quick. That's not a get-rich-quick scheme, though. Because the world's too expensive to get rich slowly. But what I mean by getting rich quick is that there are certain things you have to know on the inner game of wealth, how you manage your emotional state, your beliefs, your standards, your focus. Then in the outer game, entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, how to develop multiple streams of income. It takes time. That's where the hard work, because a lot of hard work goes into getting this lined up and that lined up. But once you have it all lined up and you've done the work, then you can make money very, very quickly. So it's not a scheme, but you got to get rich quick, and you have to put the work in. I say, if you don't want to work hard, good luck. I mean, I don't know any rich people that don't work really, really hard. That's the bottom line. So hard work and knowing stuff, skills.
There's no quick fix, easy
fix.
It's
not, again, when you get rich, it happens quickly, but there's a lot of work that goes up to that point before the money starts pouring in. That's the distinction that I think a lot of people who are not wealthy, they don't get that. They think that you accumulate money a little bit at a time. It doesn't work that way. You work, don't get the result, and bam, one last piece of the puzzle clicks in, whether it's not knowing how to close, and it all happens quickly.
Also, to really take a longer-term view. Not just, to look 3 months from now, but look 3 years from now, and the future's going to come whether you like it or not, so you want to kind of be one step ahead.
It's a mind game, then?
I think it's psychology. And everything, again, most of life comes down to psychology, doesn't it? It starts here, in the internal world. Before you can master the external world, you have to master your own internal world. That's the true secret to success.
My son's 14. He's fabulous. And we're having this conversation about when he plays in sports or when he does something about, do you go full out or do you not? And I see sometimes in him that when he's out on the field or doing something, he doesn't play full out, and he'll have an excuse. Like my leg hurts, or my arm hurts, or something happened, the coach was unfair, whatever, the referee was unfair. And what happens with people is we tend to go out into the world and we look for those sort of excuses about why things aren't the way we want them. And when you do that, you lose all your power in life. When you start focusing on the external, on the excuses, you lose your power. Here's the way people really think. I will tell you, I can go out onto stage and bomb. You go out there and you just bomb, right? And people will respect you for going out there and trying your hardest. It's not how you actually perform that earns you the respect of your peers. It's the fact that you went out and actually did it. That's the difference. So if you're out there right now and you're a new salesperson or you're struggling as a salesperson, there's no embarrassment in the struggle. There's just not. The embarrassment is in quitting. The embarrassment is in not trying your hardest.
Poor people believe they are creatures of circumstance. That means that the life happens to them. You get that? While rich people are creators of circumstance. I will tell you this, there is no more destructive belief in the world than to think that life happens to you. Because there's 3 things that you do when you don't think that you can create your own destiny. I'll tell you exactly what they are. Ready? Number one, the first thing you do is you play what I call the blame game. You start blaming everybody for why you don't have what you want. You'll blame the government, you'll blame your family, you'll blame your spouse, you'll blame your boss, you'll blame the economy, you'll blame the people on Wall Street, which probably deserve some blame, but you'll blame anybody and everybody when you think the world happens to you. You're powerless. The second thing you do is you justify. It is because the economy stinks. It's because people are unfair to me. It's because money doesn't really matter anyway. Bullshit. You all know that. I live on love alone. Really? Go bring that to the bank and pay the rent. Hello, okay? I love love. I'm in love. I'm the greatest woman in the world. I'm going to get married next year for the third time, unfortunately, but I'm getting married next year. Great woman. So I know that, but, money's money, right? They justify. Third, and this is the worst one of all, so write it down in big letters. They complain. I hate these people. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because I do believe in some laws of the universe. I do. And one of them is that what you focus on expands, gets bigger, and what you focus on, you attract because you move towards it. If you're focusing on something, you attract. So here's what happens. When you're complaining, what are you focusing on? All the shit in your life. So guess what happens to you? You become a giant shit magnet. Get the picture? I don't want to be around because they attracted to you. You got to get away from them because when you hear someone complaining, it might hit you too. And it's the worst of all. That's what complaining does. So if you're a person that believes that, you're a creature of circumstance, life happens to you, good